Just 3 years ago, Nicki Minaj faced a personal tragedy when her father was killed in a hit-and-run accident. Charles Povich, the man who was driving the vehicle, was sentenced to just 1 year in jail in 2022.
Killed the father of Queens native and rapper Nicki Minaj.
But just when we thought the case was over, Charles came up with a clever tactic. Now, he is pushing to depose Nicki Minaj herself in the case. That's right. Charles is not only dragging Nicki into this, he is trying to depose Nicki to make her give statements against her father's behavior to shift the blame onto her father, the victim himself. This changes everything. If Charles doesn't pull this off, he might face a much harsher sentence. Let's lay out the facts, and you be the judge. Will the Anaconda singer get justice for her dad, or will the murderer of her father get away this time? Let's find out together. The tragic incident happened on February 12th, 2021. It was early evening around 6 p.m. Robert Maraj, Nicki Minaj's father, was just going about his day in Mineola, Long Island. Maybe he was heading home, maybe to a store. We don't know. What we do know is that this routine walk turned deadly in a matter of moments. That night, Charles Povich was also in the same area as Robert. He was driving his car, and suddenly, he hit Robert.
On the evening of February 12th, Mirage was struck by a car in the Long Island town of Mineola.
Now, in any crisis, there are a couple of things you expect from anyone involved. Maybe help the injured person, call for assistance, or at least stay put until help arrives. But Povich? He chose none of the above. Instead, he fled the scene, leaving Maraj there, injured and alone on the cold sidewalk.
Nassau County police say he was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. The 64-year-old Mirage was pronounced dead the following day.
Later, Maraj was found on the sidewalk covered in snow. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and sadly, he passed away the next day. So how did they catch Povich? Well, law enforcement turned to CCTV footage. They quickly figured out who was behind the wheel.
Surveillance video, they tracked the car to his nearby Mineola home, where he hid the damaged vehicle in this detached garage.
Povich was charged with leaving the scene of an accident. Not just that, he also tampered with physical evidence. You see, after hitting Mirage, he actually went home and covered his car, a 1992 Volvo station wagon, with a tarp to hide it. Even more disturbing, he initially got out of his car, checked on Maraj lying there on the ground, and asked if he was okay, but did nothing to help. A simple call for help might have saved Maraj, but Povich chose to walk away. Let's get something straight. Leaving the scene of an accident is a big mistake. It is not just morally wrong, it is illegal. Even if you are scared, even if you know you messed up, you are supposed to stay, help out, and call the authorities. That's just being a responsible human. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj and her mother, Carol Maraj, were bent on seeking justice for this senseless loss. Povich, who was 72 at the time, expressed remorse in court. He claimed he has been distressed ever since realizing the full impact of the tragedy. He said there was no excuse for his actions. The prosecutors pushed for a prison sentence of 1 to 3 years, but when it came down to it, Nassau County Judge Howard Sturm handed down a lighter sentence. Charles was sentenced to just 1 year in jail. Povich was also fined $5,000 and had his driver's license suspended for 6 months. Judge Sturm pointed out that Povich's lack of a criminal history and the fact that he was not under the influence at the time were reasons he was given a lighter sentencing. He also said that the criminal act was Povich leaving the scene, not directly causing the death. Had he intentionally hit Robert, he would have received a much harsher sentence. When the sentence was made public, Carol Maraj was furious with the decision.
If you could just explain to us what the point you hope to make to the judge was about Mr. Povich.
I wanted to have the judge understand that Mr. Povich was in his right frame of mind. He was very much aware of what he did when he got out of that car and looked at a man on the ground and drove off. He was aware because he hid evidence and he stayed away for 3 days. So he was very aware of something. He had something to hide, and he was aware of what he was doing.
So what do you think of this sentence?
I think this is just a slap in the face. You know, they said he was a great citizen, but I don't think that constitutes a great citizen.
In court, she expressed her distress. She said that Povich left her husband like a dog on the street. He could have called an ambulance. This might have saved his life. So according to her, this light sentencing was a slap in the face to the family. Outside the courtroom, she also shared a heart-wrenching detail. She told the reporters that her husband had been packed and ready to fly to California that very day. He was going to meet Nicki Minaj's then 1-year-old son, his grandson, Papa Bear.
As soon as that alternate juror was sent away, he spoke to the press.
Okay.
And he said that he would have freed Jelani Mirage because there was no evidence.
Just this year, Nicki Minaj shared another detail related to her father's death. She shared her ongoing grief on the 3rd anniversary of his death. Calling it the most devastating loss of her life, she said she often finds herself wanting to call him, especially now that he is gone. She also expressed her wish for his soul to rest in paradise. Nicki also shared the contents of the last phone conversation she had with her father, just hours before his tragic death. During an interview for Apple Music, she revealed that typically she would not answer the phone while with her baby, but something made her pick up when she saw it was her dad.
But anyway, that day, as I'm mocking him, the phone rings. I look down, see my phone. I see it's my father. I normally would not have picked up. I promise you. I would have said, okay, because I don't like to be on the phone with the baby there, and I'm putting him to sleep. I would have called him back. But anyway, something said pick up the phone. I picked up. He was very happy, and he was like, baby, I could come on Monday, because he had been waiting to be able to come to Cali.
He was in a good mood and excited about flying out to see her and meet his grandson for the first time. They even made plans for his visit, which makes the timing of his death even more heartbreaking. Nicki received another call later, this time from her mother. Her mother gave her the tragic news of her father's death. The Barbie World singer also shared that 2 nights before the tragic accident that took Robert Marage's life, she had a nightmare. In her dream, she saw blood everywhere. The blood was coming out of someone's head who was unconscious on the floor. She said she was so scared that she woke up and texted everyone to pray. She already had a hunch that something bad was about to happen. Then came the tragic news of her father's accident. This loss clearly still haunts the family. It is clear from Nicki's heartrending post that she posted 3 years after the incident. It is a tough ride for anyone, let alone in the public eye. But just as the family was processing their grief, Charles Povich managed only to get a slap on the wrist, just 1 year behind bars. Feeling this was not justice enough, Carol Maraj slapped Charles with a $150 million lawsuit for his part in the tragedy. In the courtroom, Carol's legal team did not hold back. They portrayed Charles not just as negligent, but also as someone who cared more about covering his tracks than helping an injured man at the scene.
Was more concerned about running and hiding himself than seeking help for the man he injured. We intend to hold Povich responsible for his reckless actions and achieve justice for the victim's widow.
They said his actions were not just irresponsible, but downright cowardly and immoral. Charles, on his end, tried to play the excessive card. He claimed $150 million was way too much and blamed Robert for his own death. He did claim that he was careless in crossing the street, but there is no way he can pay that much. It was a big mistake to hit Robert, but still, it was a mistake. And just when you think it could not get more heated, Charles tried to pull a controversial move. He dug up past family drama. He pointed to Nicki's lyrics in interviews where she talked about her father's abusive past and heavy drinking. He argued that this was relevant because Carol was claiming compensation for the loss of comfort and companionship. But according to him, there was no comfort or companionship at all. And the proof was the lyrics of Nicki's songs. Charles pushed even further. He demanded Nicki herself sit for a deposition. Imagine dragging a global superstar into court to potentially air personal family issues. Sounds like a tactic to get more attention or maybe sway the legal outcome by adding the celebrity factor. Carol's lawyer was quick to shut that down. He argued that song lyrics are, more often than not, artistic and not factual statements. Really? Pulling lyrics into this? Most songs are not direct transcripts of real life, but more about artistic expression. Carol had already been deposed twice, with the most recent session stretching over 2 days in December 2023. Yet Charles was not satisfied. He accused Carol of giving conflicting answers, hence his push to have Nicki testify. Carol fired back. She accused Charles of trying to unnecessarily drag Nicki into this. Basically, she said it sounds like he is using Nicki's fame to complicate the legal proceedings further.
But the court was not having any of it. They denied Charles's request to depose Nicki. As they pointed out, he had not even shown he had tried to reach out to her team beforehand. They have now given him 30 days to prove he made an effort to contact her. In short, the court has set a clock on his next move. Now, will Charles manage to pull off getting Nicki deposed? Or is this just another delay tactic in a case that is already loaded with drama? It is anyone's guess. But one thing is for sure. It is a long road ahead in the quest for justice. What's your take on this whole situation?
Let us know in the comments below. As much as this court case is getting attention, there is something else that people cannot stop talking about. Yes, it is about Spotify's most played artist and her current romantic partner, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. These two lovebirds are together right now, and if you are looking to see their romantic moments to really believe it, make sure to watch our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, inside out.